Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started. Welcome to the show, Paul. How are you, man?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well.
Awesome. It's funny. We've bumped into each other so many times at Shockbox. And at the beginning, I kind of just thought you were a local. I was like, oh, this guy's really nice and supportive. And then, talking to Mike and getting to know everybody in the area after a while, I was like, oh, wow, shit, you're kind of a world famous, not kind of, you are a world famous body painter and photographer. It's really cool. It was awesome to know that. And you're also a very humble dude, which is great.
Thank you.
That's not really a question, but I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, it's actually, it's taken me a while to figure, that like famous question, that old show, I forget off the top of my head. It's like I can't remember the name of the show, but one of the questions is like, what do you hate more than anything in the world? And I've just like in the last 2 years or so, I've identified that as arrogance.
Oh my
Arrogance
God.
is just like such a major turnoff to me. And I just don't see a need for it. I think it's
There's
damaging.
no need. Yeah. We completely align on that. I've always been that way. And I think it's weird. I think sometimes people confuse niceness for weakness. And some people will try to take advantage of you, but it's not weakness. It's just like, that's how you should be. We're all human beings. It doesn't matter which level you're at.
Right.
It could also be an LA thing a little bit, or at least exacerbated by being in LA.
Maybe that's why I've become aware of it a little bit more than I have in the past. Because I moved to Los Angeles, well, the South Bay specifically, about almost 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's definitely two different worlds. I was. And
where were you?
Well, I was born and raised in Chicago, but 10 years before I moved here, I lived in Rhode Island on the East Coast. Oh, and by the way, the name of that show just hit me. It was Inside the Actor Studio.
Oh, with Lipton.
I always love that show. Yes, James Lipton. That's right. He would ask that question, and it was always hard for me to think what is something I don't like. What's your favorite word?
I wish I could go into a Lipton impersonation and just do the rest of the interview as Lipton. We'll work on that. We'll get the video going for round 2. I'll come in with my Lipton impersonation. I think he just passed, didn't he?
No way. Did he really?
Yeah, I think it was. Well, I think it was a year or two ago. But yeah, he was.
Wow.
His show was really cool. Well, anyway, I want to let people know, for those of small percentage of people who don't know who Paul is. I'm just going to take this from your website because you're going to say it better than I'm going to. Los Angeles artist Paul Roustan is known for his work in body painting and photography. Winner of the North American Body Painting Championships. Roustan is recognized as one of the world's leading body painters whose style combines traditional fine art, pop culture, and reflections of contemporary world to create conceptually based body painting. An alum of both the School of Art Institute of Chicago and Rhode Island School of Design, Roustan's career spans both the fine art and commercial worlds. His work has appeared on media including Spike TV, the Game Show Network, Sábado Gigante, I guess I'm saying that right, the Chicago Sun-Times.
Nailed it.
Oh, nice. That's my wife. She's going to be proud of me. The New York Post, GQ, Playboy, Maxim, and galleries along the East and West Coasts. His work has been acquired in over 200 private collections. That's quite the resume.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been working hard for a long time.
Yeah, man. I know it takes a long time, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It sneaks up on you,
Yeah, you're like, oh, wait a minute. All of a sudden, 20 years has gone by.
Yeah.
I think some people, and I want to get your feeling on this. I mean, you've been doing this for quite a while, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've been body painting for 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah, I've been doing this. Well, from school, it's been over 20, but I've been doing art as a career, or trying to as a career, and doing it professionally for 4 or 5 years now. But I was
Hmm.
doing it and pursuing it for about 18 years.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot along the way. But one of the things that I get all the time now is it feels like younger artists are kind of, they're looking for like a quick, you know, like a shortcut. Like, what's the
Yep.
secret sauce? What button can I
Yep.
push to get me there? Do you get that a lot too?
Oh, totally, without question. I think it's partly the fault of social media and the quick response you get from that. So you kind of expect it after
Definitely.
a while. But that also goes in accordance with my distaste for arrogance, because social media, it makes people's heads larger really fast,
It
and you have to
does.
be careful not to consume too much praise and develop an arrogance that is often just not warranted.
Yeah.
And I think
Well,
it's damaging to
it's very
success.
damaging. It is, and I
Yeah.
think that it's taken away kind of the whole frame of reference. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more kind of, oh, this is my foundation. I'm a normal human being. All the kids growing up now, it's just like they get on social media before they've really even developed their own personality, and it's just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a social media star. And I think
Yeah.
it's great. I love certain aspects of social media, and you've done very well on social media. Like, your Instagram following is very large, and your YouTube following is very large. So you've taken advantage of that. But also, there's the kind of other side of it, the dark side,
Yeah.
that you got to kind of watch out for, because it can be all consuming, right?
Oh, totally. I've navigated through the ups and downs of it. I mean, I've had the luxury of being there since the beginning.
Yeah.
When blogs first became a thing. When you would sign on to AOL and go into chat rooms, and like I was there from day one, so I got to experience all of the ups and downs, which has sort of educated me on what's good and what's bad, and like what we're talking about with developing arrogance. It's such an easy thing to fall into. And I remember before I was doing body painting, I was a cartoonist and I would do comic strips, and they had
Oh, wow.
a tri-weekly comic strip that was gaining some serious momentum popularity wise. And
That's cool.
I think I don't get as many hits on my website now that I did when I was making the comic. And I remember I was like 20 years old, and I remember going to San Diego Comic Con, and people would approach me to get autographs and sketches.
Oh,
It
really?
was like a small taste of fame, and I was, as an introvert, I was really kind of scared of that. It
Yeah.
freaked me out a lot. And so I kind of withdrew a little bit, and I learned a lot from that, because then when it happened again with body painting or with whatever praise I was getting on social media, I knew to be sort of like, don't take this as fact.
Yes.
Appreciate the love. The love is always great. I also get tons of hate, which is,
Oh,
I
yeah.
think
Especially on YouTube, I'm assuming, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. I mean, I have a long list of hateful comments. I've been collecting my favorites basically, but
Nice.
I just learned. I had the luxury of learning things, from the beginning. Where, like you said, kids nowadays don't have that luxury, and it's a tough thing to navigate.
It is. And if you base your happiness on comments you're getting on YouTube, you're going to be a miserable person. I
Yeah,
mean, I'm sure you got a lot
yeah,
of good ones too, but for me, the negative ones
yeah.
always stand out so much more. Those are the ones that kind of
Of
stick in your
course, I think that's human nature. You could have like 20 outstanding comments, and then you get one that's just it just ruins your whole day.
brain. Yeah.
So now I
I
kind of tune
suck.
all of it out. Really, the only comments that I really value are among the peers, like the artists that I love and respect and admire. And when I hear something from someone like that, I'm like, oh, I did a good job. I did a good job. If
Yes.
they say so, I did a good job.
I think that's a good thing to live by. So do you basically just not read comments anymore?
Um, I try not to. I try not to.
Well, that's the
I
hard thing
mean,
too, because
what was
you have to
nice?
engage, right?
Yeah, what was nice was, so I've had a lot of artwork go viral, and that's when things get really difficult.
Yes.
Because I mean, you wake up from a nice slumber, and you pick up your phone, which is kind of the thing that we all do, right? You pick up your phone, check your email, whatever, see what you
Hmm.
missed while you were sleeping. And when something goes viral, you just have like thousands of comments
Oh my God.
and so many that are just awful, just like
Yeah.
awful, hateful, racist, whatever, like the worst things anybody can imagine, they'll
Yeah.
type. And you wake up on this beautiful sunny day and you're like, oh my God, I want to
Right.
go back to sleep.
Oh,
I don't want to do this. And so like back then, this is just like, I don't know, 7 years ago, when my first thing went viral, and I had to deal with that. So, and you don't want to turn off the comments because that affects your reach. So I
Right.
had to set my comments to approval only, which means that I didn't want, like, sometimes I'll paint an 18-year-old model, and they might not be fully emotionally developed to
Hmm.
handle someone saying about them publicly, oh, she needs to eat a cheeseburger, or she's too fat, or she looks like this, or she looks like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God. I
So
didn't even think
I
about
would
that side. Yeah.
I would have to sort of approve the comments to make sure nothing just awful, critical, and mean went out there.
Almost to protect your model more than yourself.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right. And
Yeah. That's good.
but after a while, that takes a toll on you because you're reading thousands of just thousands upon thousands of just plain old negativity,
Not
and
to
it
mention
takes a
it takes
toll
up a
on
lot
you.
of time too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the last one that I dealt with that I got I think it was 1.3 million views in 18 hours.
Oh, wow.
I spent 3 hours cleaning up comments that had to be approved, and I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I
You
can't.
almost have
It
to
just
hire
takes too
somebody to
much
go through
time.
that.
Yeah, and so then so then YouTube released this thing where they filter comments. So if they have certain words, it automatically gets held aside. So I no
Yeah.
longer approve or disapprove comments unless I actually physically go and check what they set aside, which
Right.
I actually did yesterday, and I kind of went through it quickly and approved some that were genuinely, you know, constructive.
Yeah.
Um, but for the most part, that's been nice to not have to deal with that so much anymore. It's
That
just,
is maybe one of the best things that they've invented.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not flawless, but it's so much better than it was.
Yeah. It's a filter. It just helps.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing. Well, I wanted to talk to you about I was going to talk to you about it a little later, but you've had a lot of videos go viral as well as images, correct?
Yes, yes.
That's amazing. So I was kind of poking around your YouTube channel the other day in preparation for this. And first of all, I love all your work, and the videos
Thank
are
you.
great, creative, interesting, fun. I saw, I first got hooked in with I think it's your most recent one, the roller girl, right?
Right, right. Yeah, I did that 2 weeks ago.
Amazing. Did you have to? First of all, I got a couple questions. First of all, I'm assuming you waited until kind of the quarantine was lifted a bit to get out there, or
No.
or or sub
No.
question: is it better now to go out there because nobody's out there?
Well, so I've always been kind of reckless. I'm very, like you said, you met me. I'm very calm and I'm easy to. I think my first impression is like I'm like a ninja. I can hide in the shadows and people won't notice me. You know what I mean? But on the
That's
inside,
great.
like, I'm very kind of plain on the outside and chill and quiet. But on the inside, I'm definitely a punk,
Awesome.
and I don't like people telling me what to do. And I'm missing like the fear chip that
Uh
makes
huh.
you afraid of things. So I'm just not really, to a certain degree, obviously, of safety, but I'm not really scared of a lot of things. And so before the roller skating, I mean, I went out with a model all over LA during quarantine, and we shot at 10 iconic locations. I was like, what, you
Nice.
mean everybody's at home? Well, I'm going everywhere that would be difficult to do a naked body paint shoot in public, And so we went to
Yeah,
like the Hollywood sign, went to the Chinese theater, we went to the Museum of Contemporary Art, went to the Broad, we
I
went to
saw that. Yeah, I
Staples
saw that
Center,
one. Yeah.
we went to all these places, Rodeo Drive right in the center of it. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna capitalize on this. Like, and I didn't care.
Yeah. What
I've
a
been
perfect
out every
opportunity.
day. I've been out every day since quarantine started. Either like we just moved, and so I've been to Home Depot every day. And otherwise, if I'm making art, nothing's stopping me. I'm
Nice.
gonna do it. I don't care if I die.
Isn't that isn't that funny that it's like they had all of the what was it called? It wasn't mandatory services, whatever they deemed to be appropriate to stay open. I love how like Home Depot so was one of
Yeah,
them. It's like
yeah.
we can't shut down Home Depot, everybody.
I
What will
mean,
people do?
it's definitely necessary.
It is necessary. Hey, I've done a lot of home improvements, and I live there sometimes. So I also get a
Yeah,
lot of art
definitely.
material there.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
actually, so this roller skating one, yeah, it's funny actually getting art material there. I'm always at Home Depot trying to get stuff to create some prop,
Yeah.
and then they're like, well, what are you trying to make? And it's like, the truth is stranger than fiction, so I have to like come up with like a more believable. I don't want to
I'm
be like,
making a
oh, I'm trying
shed.
to make, yeah, I'm making a skull that turns into a rainbow dragon vomit, and and then they like look at you like you're crazy. So
Yeah, this other guy in line's like, yeah, me too.
what are you trying to make? I'm actually just looking for this piece that's shaped like this and does this. I don't know if it exists, but maybe you have something that kind of, and it's just getting creative, MacGyvering stuff.
I love it,
But
man.
with the roller girl, what I had to wait for, she was definitely concerned with going out in public. So one of the
Okay.
disadvantages of quarantine was some models didn't want to paint yet. They were scared, and I had a few that were gung ho like me, and we went out and did it. But so she was. Things started to ease up, so I asked her if she wanted to paint, and we've been wanting to do this roller skate thing for like 2 or 3 years, and we just never
Oh
got
wow.
around to it. So I was like, let's just do it. Let's just do the roller skate thing, get it over with. And so we just had fun and did that, and came out great.
Well,
Did
the
very well.
fun, yeah. Well, the fun comes out, and it's funny because one of my first questions to you that I didn't get to at all because we just started talking, which is better. But is how are you holding up right now? In the quarantine and beyond, and how has it affected your practice, your art practice? But I guess it sounds like for you personally, not so much, but for your models, a bit.
Right,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, the roller girl one, it's great because first of all, you did an amazing job. I love seeing the faces of the people that she's like rollerblading
Yeah,
by, roller skating by, and some of them are just like, oh, nothing,
yeah,
just go
yeah,
roller skating, and then you see a couple people as she passes, like turning their head, like, wait a minute, did I see
yeah.
a
Double
nipple
takes.
there? Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this one actually surprised me because it was more, people tend to notice that she was painted more than usual. I've done other stuff, like I did
Oh,
painted wetsuits and stuff, and people couldn't tell at all. One
yeah,
person came and talked to the model and I while I was shooting at the beach, and they had no idea. We didn't even tell the person that she was naked. They had no idea. They just were asking us about the photo shoot.
oh, that's so
It's
cool.
kind of
That's
cool.
an
But I was
such a
surprised. A lot of
yeah,
people, they could
good.
figure this one out.
That's so interesting. It's like hiding in plain sight.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I love
love
that.
that aspect of it.
I think part of the problem with the roller skates is that she's a phenomenal roller skater, which draws its own attention. She's very beautiful,
And she's very
draws its
attractive.
own
Yeah.
attention. Yeah, and
Yeah.
so that combined with the paint, like people are automatically looking. I've always said, and I've always sort of promoted that, like whenever people do body paintings, like body painted jeans in public and stuff like that, it's always an attractive girl, and sometimes they paint like Daisy Dukes and a tight tank top, and it's like
Right.
that draws a lot of attention to itself
Yeah.
already. So it's like you're not going to fool a lot of people when you do that. Ideally, it'd be nice to paint someone who's quote unquote average looking, right?
Yes.
And paint something completely nude, and you can definitely fool the public when you do that.
For sure. I can see it. I mean,
So
I
I
would have
haven't done that yet.
you should do it. I noticed one theme with your work is definitely a lot of beautiful women.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It would be interesting to see
actually
you.
easier.
Yeah.
It's easier to find models that are already models,
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
and are comfortable in their skin like that. I paint all sorts of people, like
Yeah.
tall, short, big, thin, male, female. Actually, there was a point where I think I painted more males than females,
Oh,
but
really?
back when the election happened, when Trump became president, the night before that, I
Wait,
have two
Trump's
daughters.
president?
Yeah, I have two daughters, and the night before he became president, I was really excited for them. I was like, "Girls, aren't you excited? Tomorrow we're gonna have the first female president ever.
Yeah,
It's
me too.
cool." And then we woke up to the reality, and that bummed me out. That really bummed me out. And I'm not a super political person or anything, but
Yeah.
I really believe that um, Hillary would have won if she wasn't a female. and that
Yeah.
bummed me out. So I kind of just wanted. I've really lost interest in painting men and wanted to be more of a celebrate women, celebrate the strengths of women, and I just started painting more women.
Oh,
And then
that's
at the same
cool.
time, I've always related better to women. I have a much older sister
Hmm.
who was kind of like a mother to me too, in addition to my mother. And they're very strong, independent Puerto Rican women. And I don't know. I just always related better to women overall. I don't laugh at locker room jokes, and when guys approach me about my work and they say, just kind of locker room kind of things, it's a major downer for me. So
Well,
I just
yeah.
love celebrating women, really.
That's amazing. And I'm so glad you said that. I've had the same experience growing up. I always related with my grandmother and my mother. Like I played sports and did all that thing, but I always found myself gravitating towards the conversation in the kitchen rather than
Yeah,
let's talk about the sports, even though I played
yeah.
sports. But yeah, I
I
just
mean,
felt more comfortable.
I have my sport vices for sure. I'm a big Bears fan from
Oh, no.
Chicago, but
Well, you got
that's
to be,
pretty much
right?
it, really. I mean, I was 5 years old when they won the '85 Super Bowl. That was my first experience of football, of sports.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was such a big deal.
Just as you were understanding your own consciousness, the Bears win.
Yeah,
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 we had the same
yeah.
thing with the Broncos. I followed the Denver Broncos my whole life because I grew
Mm,
up in Wyoming. We were like 2.5 hours away from Denver, so it was
yeah,
basically
so you had the
our team.
Elway guy. You had the John Elway
We
years,
had
right?
Elway. Yeah, that's right,
Yeah.
man. We watched him lose for many years and lose, kind of in a devastating fashion. And
I
then,
know that feeling very
oh,
well.
oh yeah. And then all of a sudden they won, and then they won again, and we're like, okay, I'm good. I'm good now.
Yeah.
But it's so funny. I kind of just left sports behind. I did this complete, whatever, 180, 360, whatever you
Well,
want to call it.
it's definitely gotten worse. It's
It
just
has.
not what it used to be. And I feel you. I feel you for sure.
It's just
I've lost
night.
my hope a little bit with the Bears winning anything ever again. I've kind of lost my hope a little
Yeah, yeah.
bit.
I know. Well, I guess the thing that bothers me, and maybe this goes back to what we were talking about, the difference between relating to women or men more is I know so many guys, so many guy friends and people in my family who it would literally ruin their day. Sometimes it
Yeah,
would ruin their week. And it's just like,
yeah,
dude, it's not worth that. I mean, it's a game.
yeah,
I understand getting into it, but once it's done, let's detach from it a bit here.
yeah. Let's go outside and enjoy the sun.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. So I didn't realize you were. I guess 6 years is not super super recent, but did you? You're kind of a Hermosa transplant, then I guess.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm a transplant.
So how did you? Oh,
Such a
I hope I didn't out you with the locals.
No, no, it's fine. Like I understand the whole culture, and no, it's a great question. It's such a. What's funny is that it makes sense for me. I've always been like an outsider everywhere I've been, no matter where I grew up or anything. Like, but I've had friends in every clique and anything you can imagine. I've been a part of it, but I've always kind of done my own thing and ignored what everyone else is doing. So it makes sense that I would come in as a transplant and then
Yeah.
dig myself in like a tick, baby. And
Now they're like, this guy's always
like
been here.
you kind of have no choice but to either hate me or accept me.
Right, right.
And I dove deep in the culture and I fell in love with the history of the South Bay, and I gave back. I joined the surf community and started taking pictures of surfers, and I created imagery that raised funds for Heal the Bay, and
Oh,
I'm
nice.
very active in the art community, and I've just done a lot of things for this community to give back, and with the hope of maybe getting some sort of acceptance, but if not, whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm here and I'm here to stay, and it's going to take a little bit of some sort of poison to get rid of me.
I'll edit that part out so people don't poison you. No, nobody. I mean, you fit right in. Like I would have not known the difference. So, how did you meet Mike then? And also, congratulations on becoming a member of the program at Shockbox Gallery.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
yeah. That was a really nice thing because I've always been really active with. I'm active with all the local galleries, and I try to participate with everybody that I possibly can. As a hustler, you got to get your work out there as much as you possibly can. But
Definitely.
I go to as many of the shows as I possibly could, and obviously that's how I met Mike through Shockbox, attending the shows. And
Oh, so you didn't know him before that?
I don't think I did. I met him. You know what? I met him through Laura Schuler. I was painting at Copro Gallery in Santa Monica, and
Yeah.
Laura brought him and introduced him to me. And then I just met him again through Shockbox, and just hung out a lot. And now we're
Nice.
pals, and now I'm part of the program. But
Yeah,
it
man.
feels good because, like I said, I'm always an outsider, no matter where I go. And I think, I don't know if I have a weird first impression with people, but like I feel like people tend to shy away from me at first until they get to know me a little bit, and so it's kind of nice. It was nice to have that sort of acceptance from Shockbox and feel accepted. That
Yes.
doesn't happen very often.
Well, and yeah, and it's such a great gallery. Like I've talked to a bunch of other artists in the program, and just artists who want to get into the gallery and locals. There's just so much opportunity there to grow, and such a great community.
Yeah,
Mike's awesome. It's not like your standard gallery system where you get
right.
in, you're fighting to get seen, and maybe you get in a group show, maybe you get a solo show, but they're not really pushing you. I really feel like there's a great community, and Mike has your back.
Mike, he's kind of like a gardener, and he kind of helps you grow
Yes.
appropriately. you know
Yes.
and he doesn't put limits on you. He doesn't say you can do this, you can do this. There's other galleries that shy away from my work because of the nudity, and they say we can't hang that up, or you can't do that, or I get sent, like, I've had work pulled out of gallery group shows because of a nipple, and but
Wow.
they'll show paintings of nipples, but Mike has never in any way censored me or limited me. He's always been very welcoming, very friendly, well
Yeah.
spoken. Like,
Yes.
I admire his knowledge of all things, really.
Yeah.
And then you have his amazing wife, who's like the greatest mayor in the history of Hermosa Beach.
Yeah.
And speaking of celebrating women, my God, she is one amazing human being.
Yeah. I,
Um,
I, I just know her very briefly, but every time I've met her, or every time I've spoken
he's
with her, she sounds
Mike
amazing.
is probably only rivaled by her, really.
Really.
Like, they're
So
just
you,
two amazing people,
good
and
old fashioned power couple.
yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's cool to see how Shockbox has grown all this time and continues to grow. And they had their scary moments here and there with, like, potentially getting shut down because of the trouble down the street with the gym, and it's just cool to see him thrive.
It
And
is.
and now he has the support of so many artists, and hopefully it can go on for as long as possible.
I think he's like back with a vengeance and here to
Yeah,
stay now. Yeah, I
and
completely
it's
agree.
cool. It's cool that he has great help with Astrid too.
Right.
I had the opportunity to paint Astrid. Got to paint Astrid last week, I think,
You're
and
one of
she's
the
cool. She's
few.
kind of punky, She's kind of punky, and I got to paint her.
Yeah, she's
We have
definitely
we have a
punky.
similar mentality. So
Punky and very
she was like, screw,
elusive.
screw the virus. Let's paint.
Yeah, she's very elusive. A lot of people have not been able to track her down
Yeah,
in
she's
person.
really private.
She's very
She's
private.
so private. She doesn't. She does. I kind of admire that in this age of social media. Like,
I know.
not putting yourself out there.
And when
But
she is
she
on
does.
social media, it never ceases to surprise me what she comes up with. So I love
Yeah.
that. Well, I wanted to ask you. You were talking about certain galleries shying away from your stuff for seeing a nipple. So I was curious to see how you were able to kind of grow on YouTube. I thought there might have been a problem with having the nudity, or the perceived nudity, at least on YouTube. Has that been a challenge for you?
Yeah. So this goes way back. So
Okay.
2011, Google Plus came out, right?
Oh yeah.
I've been slow at adapting to things. I've always been resistant to adapting to things, and right around that time just happened to be a time where I was like, you know what? I'm going to change that, and I'm going to jump in on something new and just run with it. So I jumped in on Google Plus and hustled my butt off, and they put out the Hangout, which is basically what Zoom is now.
Uh huh.
And they created a Hangout where you can talk to multiple people in one setting. And I noticed musicians and artists were putting their work out there in the early phase of Google Plus, the beta
Yeah.
phase, and they were getting some good attention for that. So I was like, well, I'm going to do a live body painting. And so I jumped on that, and instantly, because it was in beta and there was a limited amount of people on Google Plus, it just got a lot of attention, and I had this huge burst of following
Oh
and
wow.
support from the users of Google Plus. And then I would post my work, and around this time, I had a lot of trouble with Facebook censoring my work, and
Yes.
so I was looking at Google Plus as like, oh, this is where I can post my work without trouble, hopefully, right? And so I got away, I think, with 3 months of posting my work uncensored and never had an issue. And at this point, I think I had also done 2 or 3 live body paint hangouts that ended up also being streamed through another website to the world, and it was getting amazing numbers, like 250,000 people viewing at once, things like that.
Oh wow.
And then all of a sudden, one day, 13 images in my gallery were deleted for nudity. And instead of like bitching about it, which everybody tends to do, get angry, you get angry and complain.
Yeah.
I posted moments in history where change happened, like Rosa Parks sitting in the
Right.
front of the bus. I posted various moments that happened in history, and I challenged Google to be different from all the other social media companies, and just posted that, and then the whole like all the followers got angry for me.
Oh nice. There you go.
So I never got angry, and they got angry, and I was just like, that night I was just hanging out in a private hangout with some friends, and all of a sudden the vice president of Google, Vic Gundotra, joined my hangout
Oh
and
wow.
came and said, "I'm just here to talk to Paul real quick. Paul, I just want to tell you that we support your work and we reinstated your images, and I want you to know that you have the green light from Google. You can post whatever you want." Because I had already proven myself as like a tasteful artist, and
Right.
and I wasn't going to abuse, you know, opportunities. Like, he understood. And after that, I was able to actually meet him in person in Mountain View, California, in the Lion's Den, just like 2 doors down from Larry Page's office,
Oh
and
wow.
just like talk, and it was a pretty amazing time. And early users of Google Plus that sort of put a lot of energy in the social media, they appreciated that, and they gave everybody verification on YouTube, which is owned by Google.
Mhm.
And I actually lost my verification because I changed my YouTube username from Paul Roustan to just Roustan, and I didn't realize I was going to lose the verification.
Oh
And
no.
so I lost it, and I contacted them like, "Oh, sorry, you need to have 100,000 subscribers to apply for verification." I was like, "Oh
Are
well,
you
whatever."
kidding
And so I
me?
just I just kept hustling anyways.
Well, you're almost
But
there.
people, the long story short, on YouTube, you can post nudity. You can post artistic nudity. You can post educational nudity, um, and that's fine. You can mark your videos as mature, 18 plus,
Mhm.
which will usually keep it up there. And there hasn't been. I haven't really posted anything flagrant. I think anything
Yeah.
that's derogatory or explicit, or like just bad, they'll pull down for
Yeah,
sure. And I've had
gratuitous.
one video. I've posted almost 300 videos now, and I had one video get flagged, and I got a notification that it was considered pornographic, and I responded, saying, "This is not pornography. I don't know who's judging that, but this was actually made in response to the Me Too movement for a gallery show, and this is the video that was shown at a gallery in Los Angeles."
Yeah.
And then they reinstated it. So
Wow,
they've been
man.
really good. They've been really good with like maintaining contact,
Also,
and
you've been good at convincing them because not a lot of
yeah.
people can
Well, I
do that.
mean, it's easy to do when you're genuine. I'm
Right.
not bullshitting anybody. It's
Right.
all real. This is a passion of mine, and I'm not doing this to be around naked chicks. That's not my goal.
Right.
Like, I actually have a purpose, and it's exploration, and it's like there's a goal there. And I think I can express that when shit goes down, basically. And
Also, you do have some
and it works.
notoriety in the art world too. People see that you're a
I think it helps a
legitimate
little bit.
artist.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that comes with that's one of the things that I think, like we were talking about earlier, people expecting immediate, success
Hmm.
is one thing I've learned after all these years, because I've been showing work in galleries since 2009, I think.
Hmm.
And one thing I learned is in the beginning, in the get-go, or especially if you're straight out of college, nobody takes you as seriously as they do if you've been doing something for 15 years. Like, now I'm 40
Exactly.
years old, and it's like this guy's going to keep doing this stuff no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yeah, I'm 41, so I'm right there with
Yeah.
you, man. Yeah. Yeah.
And so it's like that it goes hand in hand with a patron buying your work. Like if they're going to buy your work early, some of them want to know that it's a good investment, that it might be worth something, might go up in value over long term. And you're less likely to get that value if you just graduated college or high school even,
Right. Or if it's your first
whereas
sale.
versus showing, oh, this crazy 40-year-old dude has been painting naked people for 15 years. I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to stop. He's not going to stop,
Yeah. Yeah. No,
whether the
I
world
mean,
likes it or not,
it's the same thing with me. Like I look back on it's just kind of pressure over time. And obviously you have to have some talent too. But for me, it was like I looked back all of a sudden and I said, oh my God, I just made I think I just hit my 425th painting sale. I
Wow.
was like, okay,
Wow.
I've been doing this. I've shipped like 300 plus pieces internationally.
Yeah,
I'm like, I feel like
that's
I'm
stressful.
I'm an artist, you know? And I think
Yeah.
people see that and they go, okay, just
Yeah.
like with you,
And
they see that and they
I
trust it.
wish people wouldn't think that artist was such a bad word. Like you saying to yourself that I'm an artist. I think that's okay to say,
Oh
like
yeah.
what are you? What are you, like, with everything you're doing? If you're not an artist, what are you?
Right.
Like, you're
It's
an
like
artist. It's not a bad word. It's okay.
I
You
know.
know?
But there's a stigma about art. That's one of the things that I wanted to do with this podcast and kind of with my work in general recently, as I made a transition from dark pop surrealism into this, was I wanted to kind of get rid of that stigma of artists being like, the tortured,
Yeah.
starving artist type, we couldn't make money, don't know how to run a business, don't know, I think that's completely false. And it's a
Hmm.
damaging stigma. And I think a lot of younger artists come up believing that because of that. It's been kind of perpetuated.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, there really is honestly just a balance that you have to find. I
Yeah.
think you can lean too much on business side, and you can lean too much on production side, and it's a hard balance to find. And I tend to lean a lot more towards the production side. I'm just happier when I'm producing artwork, and
Yes.
I stop and sit back and like set up a web page that sells my work, but
Hmm.
I have, it's like on my to-do list, but it's not a priority when it should be because I need to make the money.
Sure. But you also have, for example, I wanted to drop this. You were first place winner, best photography book, Beverly Hills Book Awards. I know
Yeah.
you sell those on your website. So that plus you do like tutorials, right? Like a DVD and digital
Yeah.
download
Yeah.
tutorials. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming that's something that you kind of get some at
Yeah,
least
I get a
passive
little
income
bit.
from
I get
that.
a little bit of money from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like like you have to have many eggs in many baskets.
Oh yeah, a lot of irons in the fire. That's what I learned. It's kind
Yeah,
of like investing. You want to have a diversified portfolio. I mean, I hate to
definitely. And
put
I
it in
have
those
I
terms,
have
but
months where most of my income comes from commissions, and then I have months where most of my income comes from gallery sales, and
yep,
varies all over the place. But something is always happening,
that's
which is
perfect because you can't count
yeah,
on one thing. Like when I first started selling quite
right.
a bit, I was like had one art marketplace where I mean I was selling a little bit in galleries and privately through my studio, but I was selling a majority of my stuff through this one art marketplace, and I was like. I woke up one day and I was freaked out because I said, what if these guys just don't make it? A lot of these
Yeah.
art marketplaces fail and then boom, like 30,
Oh,
40%
that's
of
a
your
very
income's
good
gone.
point. That's
Yeah.
a very good point.
So in the same thing with social media, what if like Google Plus, for example,
Absolutely.
they're no longer around?
Absolutely.
What if Instagram
Yeah.
goes tomorrow? I don't think they
Right.
will because they're owned by
No, that's
Facebook.
a
But
very good point. That's a very good point. Because I got banned from Facebook back in 2012, I think, or
yeah,
2014. I can't remember. But they deleted everything. They deleted everything, and I was like abiding by the terms. I had images censored and stuff, but they just out of nowhere deleted everything, including all my messages,
oh my
which had
God.
business stuff. So
Oh,
it's like gone. And honestly, I was happy to be free of Facebook. Like
yeah.
it's such a negative thing in the stream that I was like, whatever, that's fine. I'll just keep pushing Google Plus and building up my Instagram. And then Facebook bought Instagram, and I was like, oh, son of a bitch. And then Google Plus folded, from bad PR. And it's like ultimately what I have always focused on. And I even went to like a few workshops by gallery owners talking about how you can be successful, blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And one of the guys said, you don't need a website. And all I could think was like, you are so wrong about that.
Oh my
You are
God.
so wrong about that. The
Yes.
website is the only thing you can completely control.
Right.
You're paying for it.
Well, you
And
said this
your
was a gallery
website,
owner, right? Sorry to interrupt, but
right. And it
so
was
he
just
was
like,
trying to push people to sell through the gallery.
no, he was saying buy a domain and connect it to your Facebook.
Oh, I see.
And it was like, no, because Facebook owns
Yeah, you
what
don't
you have
control
on
that.
there. You don't
Exactly.
control it. They don't even let you, the people that voluntarily subscribe to see your stuff, they don't even let them see it. They have to interact with you to see your stuff.
Yeah, and that's a
And
lot
I
of
was like, that's
control to
crazy.
give an
So right
entity
now I've
like
been
Facebook.
so instead of complaining about situations, I try to find how can I make it work, and so for Instagram, which has constantly since Facebook bought it been a major source of headache with
Yeah.
images getting flagged and constantly getting shadow banned, because I've had like 23,000 followers. I've had that for like 2 or 3 years now. Like I have zero growth on it now.
Oh,
And I
wow.
should be well over 100K, but because I'm constantly shadow banned and deleted and stuff, I just can't. So what I've been doing is posting my work censored and saying go to my website to see it uncensored. And
Yeah.
surprisingly, the traffic that generates is phenomenal.
That's
Like
smart because
people
it's like a
actually go
teaser.
and do it. And
Yeah.
so in turn, I end up growing my Google, what do they call it, engagement, for the algorithm. So my
Yeah.
my website increases in search algorithm because I get so many hits to the site, deeming it a successful site. So that
That's
helps me as
perfect.
far as discoverability amongst Google.
Well,
So
also,
I'm taking a lemonade and making I'm taking a lemon and making lemonade.
for sure, man. And you did say that you need the balance and you need to get a little bit better with the business. But at the same time, that is very business minded. Like you understand,
Yeah,
a lot of artists
yeah,
don't understand that it's all, at least online, it's all about the algorithm. But
yeah.
I want to pause you real quick because we're going to get cut off here.
Okay,
Let's just take a quick break and
all
we'll
right,
come back. All right.
okay.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's also creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And we're back with the man who got a personal letter from Hugh Hefner.
Rock and roll.
So before we get back into all the algorithm talk, what was that all about?
Yeah, man, Hugh Hefner. Like, I have a lot of respect for that dude. He, back in the '60s, he was like putting racial equality on the map.
Yeah,
in the forefront of it. It's pretty awesome. But yeah, I studied about him a lot and everything he did for racism and equality and freedom of censorship and expression and all that jazz. And he was a big comic cartoon lover.
Oh, really?
And I also enjoyed this old pinup illustrator, George Petty, who inspired Alberto Vargas, who's the more known pinup artist.
Mm-hmm.
And Petty did this pinup of a girl in a bunny costume. And that pinup inspired Hefner's Playboy Bunny, basically. As a child, Hefner, I think, was a teenager when he first saw it.
Yeah.
And it stuck in his mind. And so as a fan of both of them, I did a body painting on a model in a bunny costume, basically painted bunny costume. And I sent that picture to Hef.
Oh, awesome.
And he responded telling me what I already knew, was that he used to look at that picture on his wall as a child, and it basically inspired the Playboy Bunny.
Oh, that's so cool, man.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
What a good story. Yeah, I know he gets a lot of flack from the Me Too movement people, and I don't know all about that. I know there's like a lot of people who completely 100% vouch for him and love him, and then there's the opposite side. But I guess that's pretty normal, right?
Whenever there's any success, there's love and hate,
Yep.
There's many sides to many stories, and who knows what the truth is, really. But ultimately, this guy did some amazing things in the face of major criticism, and I respect him for that, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. So I wanted to get back. Oh, thank you for sharing that, by the way. I wanted to get back to the algorithm talk. We were just finishing it before we got cut off. It's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't understand getting into it. Like I get questions all the time from other artists, from younger artists coming in. Oh, how do you sell art? How are you selling? Like, or like they just think if they go up on one of the art marketplaces that I'm on, they're going to have the same success. Right. And it's like, first of all, it's not just about the algorithm, right? You have to have a body of work. You have to be creating consistently. Mm-hmm. You have to be getting it out there. But then you have a chance to kind of click into the all-knowing, all-present algorithm. So I'm wondering if the Google, your whole thing with Google Plus, did that feed into your YouTube channel growth?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What happened was, so here's the thing. With all the social media networks that I've been a part of, the only ones that gave me positive in-person results were Google Plus and YouTube. Right? Facebook banned me. Instagram is continuously giving me problems. Yeah. But I acknowledge that it's important to be a part of that. I haven't been a part of Facebook since 2014 or 2012 because they banned me, and I'm just happy to be free of it. Yeah. And I probably would do better if I was on it, but I'm going to just put all my energy in places that I feel like I'm welcome, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
And, Google Plus brought me to the headquarters of Google, and I got to hang out with the vice president of Google at the time. And I just found out about almost a year ago, that YouTube, if you have more than 10,000 subscribers, gives you access to their production spaces. Which
I've heard something about that.
I think there's like 7 or 8 in the world. There's one in New York. There's one in LA.
Oh wow! There's one. I think the DeLorean Austin just went out past you.
Yeah, 88 miles per hour.
We're going back to the future.
Roads.
We don't need algorithms.
But so I've had over 10,000 subscribers on YouTube for like years, and I didn't know this, and someone told that to me. And as like a frugal, scrambling artist that takes advantage of every little opportunity I can get, I was like, what?
Oh, that's awesome.
And I investigated it real hard, and sure enough, you have 10,000 subscribers, you can get access to this space that gives you top of the line equipment, huge production stages.
Oh wow!
Like full editing suites with the top of the line Apple equipment.
Really?
And it's all free.
Oh man! And do they have one in LA?
Yeah, it's right in Playa Vista. So it's like
Playa Vista. I used to work there.
It's like 20 minutes away from me. It's like, are you kidding me? I could have been using this for the last 4 or 5 years, and so I just started using it last year, and I'm using it obsessively before it shut down for this virus.
Now, can I ask you, do you use it primarily for the studios, or do you use it for the equipment, or both?
Both.
Yeah.
I mean, I work, like my laptop is from 2010. Everything I own is like old school because I'm not crazy about the whole cloud.
Oh my God, man. Me neither. I don't trust it. That's why I'm running out of space. I got to get a backup hard drive.
Yeah, and I'm resisting updating because that means I'll have to buy a new this, I'll have to buy a new that, I'll have to buy a new that. And everything works fine with what I have. It's just slow,
Yeah.
So it's frustrating to me that I'm being forced to update. But so anyways, I use their equipment, which is super, super duper fast.
Oh, that's amazing.
And
what kind of software are they using for editing?
I mean, they have everything you can need, but I use Final Cut.
Okay.
I think most people use Adobe After Effects or Premiere. I can't remember which one of those.
Yes. My wife was a multimedia designer in Argentina. She hasn't done that now, but she kind of helped me learn a lot of stuff about it. She used to use After Effects. That was her jam back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. Somehow that, like when I started video editing in 2000, Final Cut I think was bigger than. I don't even think After Effects was around. Maybe.
Yeah.
It definitely wasn't as big, but now After Effects has started taking the lead. I think because of the whole cloud setup, and you have sort of easy access to it. But I'm still kind of an old school Final Cut guy.
Yeah, I've been using iMovie, and that's just it's good. Yeah, I like it. It's just something that I was using it on the phone, and then I decided to try it on the computer. I was like, oh, this has a lot more.
You know what though, and like in this day and age, like, do you know David Dobrik? He's the YouTuber with like 6 gajillion followers.
I know the name, but I haven't ever followed him.
He does all his editing himself on iMovie.
Oh wow!
It's like, if you can succeed with just iMovie, then why not just use iMovie?
Sure, yeah. And also like it shows you that kind of it's not just about the effects, but it's the content, right?
Right. It's not about production value, it's about content.
Yeah.
If you can improve your production value on already good content, that's great, but you don't need to. You can have just a stupid little cell phone video make you lots of money if you do it right.
That's so true. And I wanted to talk, because since we're talking about YouTube and all that, you had, I think I watched your very first video that went viral on YouTube. I think it was the Supergirl one. Is that correct?
Yeah, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So about that. That was crazy. I remember
that's a cool video.
When that first was going viral, I was just like standing there watching on my email or phone or something. I was in an art show in New York City. It was an Armory art show. It was a major art fair show. And I was just standing there like, whoa, it just broke 300,000. It just broke 350,000. And it was like mind blowing to have that.
That's so cool. Do you think, was it just the content and the quality of what you were doing, the body painting and obviously the model and all that? Or do you think, was there something else you were doing in addition to that? I'm trying to basically give some YouTubers coming up.
Yeah. I can tell you the roadmap. I can tell you the roadmap to success if you want it.
Tell us the roadmap. Teach us.
So here's the thing. And this goes along with a lot of what we've been saying, because there's no easy way to succeed, right?
Of course.
You can get lucky. There's always exceptions to every rule, right? But I can tell you what I did, and it may or may not work for you because it's dependent on your content.
Of course. So like nobody has the same roadmap.
Right. So this video I think succeeded mostly because of the nudity and just the model is amazing. What I painted on her is very cool too, but I think first and foremost, people came to the video to see the model. Now, what I've discovered over the years is Reddit. Have you ever used Reddit?
I know. I hear everybody talking about it, and I'm like, I should probably get on this.
And that's what everybody says when I say that. And let me tell you right now, if you can master Reddit, if you really fully understand Reddit, you will benefit greatly from that, more than almost anything else.
Okay, interesting.
You'll spend like 3 years building up a following on Instagram to finally make a post that gets you 1,000 likes.
Yeah.
Right? Or you can make a post on Reddit that gets 1 million views in 8 hours, 24 hours, with zero work done beforehand.
That's crazy. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry.
No. Right, so this is the thing. Reddit is like so ugly. The design of it is so ugly. It's intimidating to people. The people on there are hardcore critics, man. You're gonna get a lot of hate if you're trying to promote anything. You're not gonna make it. It's all about authenticity and being genuine. And it's like I put my work out there and I don't hide behind it. And they call it the front page of the internet. And the reason they do that is because someone will post something on there. All the users will either upvote or downvote it. And when something gets upvoted to the max, it ends up on the front page of Reddit. And anything on the front page of Reddit is viral content. It's basically proven by the masses that they consume it in a viral way. So now bloggers and everybody whose job it is to put work out that's viral and they make money from it, they just harvest content from Reddit.
Interesting.
They just pick and pull stuff that fits whatever they need, and then they put it on their blog. So you get something to blow up on Reddit, which will generate thousands and thousands of views in an instant. And then a blogger, if the right blogger picks it out and shares it, then dozens of bloggers beyond that person. It's like a pyramid scheme almost,
Yeah.
It spreads and it just ends up everywhere and it becomes viral. And then you get all these international companies that want to license your content and sell it to various outlets.
That's crazy. So, and how does that translate into like your YouTube channel, for example?
Well, so if your content is a YouTube video, people, if they like the content, will subscribe to you.
Yeah.
And again, here we go with your content needs to be good. If it's something that someone's going to see.
Oh wait, sorry.
Like
but what does Reddit specifically have to do with the YouTube?
Well, you can put your YouTube link in Reddit.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. You could put a picture in Reddit. In some cases, you could put your website on Reddit.
Yeah.
What's difficult is every Reddit is the site, and every the site has many subreddits, which are all different categories of things: video, funny GIFs, I don't know, coronavirus, President Trump, all sorts of categories. And you have to click on whichever category you want. And each one is its own individual community with its own rules. And for the most part, everybody hates self-promotion and they hate spam. And so most of the time...
Oh my God, you got a drag race going on back there.
Most of the time, whatever you post will get downvoted into oblivion and nobody will ever see it.
Yeah.
But if you really begin to understand how things work and what people like to see or how they like to see it, and produce your content in a way that will work on Reddit, it'll get upvoted and it'll just explode. And then everything grows from there. But then at the same time, here we go with like talking about business, right?
Yeah.
Social media business. Everything you have after it explodes needs to be in line to benefit from the explosion.
Yes.
And so it's a lot of work.
It's almost like the artist who becomes, famous for a signature style, then they expect you to keep creating that signature style over and over again,
Right.
But you would say mainly just the quality needs to be.
And then you also get stuck in the whole psychological game where like, well, they like this, so I have to do that again. And then it's just not as good the second time you do it or whatever. You're getting in your own head too much and you're not producing. So like the best advice I could ever have for anybody is like, just produce your work the way you do it. Yeah. The reason they liked it the first time was because you're honest and genuine about how you did something. Just do that.
Sure.
Don't try to like top it or whatever, just do what you do best, and put it out there, and some will work, some won't work, but be ready for when it works, because you don't want to win big but have nothing to benefit from it.
Exactly. I think that's good advice in general for artists, because like for me, I just started growing my body of work. And once I started actually getting into social media, I'd already had now I have 900 paintings, I've sold a bunch of those at this point, but I still have a huge body of work that's just, chilling out, waiting for somebody to buy it. And I can always fall back on that. And I just put it out there and I don't really care where it is. It's like, okay, I did this, it's out there. It'll have a life of its own, or it won't. It kind of sounds like that's a similar outlook.
I mean, we're all learning, like all of us exploring artists, we explore and we try to find, hopefully you're challenging yourself, you're not just doing the same thing over and over again, which is boring.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And you're not going to succeed every time. It's impossible. So, but you can't fault me for putting everything out there for everyone to see. No. Whether or not it's good or bad, I'm trying to put something out there, and that's where you get hate when something is not up to par. It's like, whatever. At least I put it out there. What did you do?
Yeah, it's like the whole Brene Brown, Teddy Roosevelt thing of being in the arena. It's very easy to critique if you're not putting yourself out there.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I have critiques sometimes, like, "Oh, you missed a spot on the elbow or on the butt crack." Like, are you serious? You're missing the whole landscape. You're looking at one little piece of sand. Like, look at the whole thing. Enjoy it. There's a girl roller skating naked on the Strand, and you're complaining about a little chip of paint.
Well, yeah, right. Well, that person's going to complain about anything. These are the people who write Yelp reviews, for a restaurant. So you got to just tune those out. I would say if like 90% of your comments are that way, then maybe you got to look at it. But those few stragglers.
You never know. You just got to follow your heart. You got to follow your heart against everything, I think.
Yeah.
If it feels right to you, do it. As long as nobody's getting hurt,
Well, and I think anybody who's kind of chosen art as a career or as a path, they've already kind of signed up for that, right?
Yeah.
Because
and then also
nobody's going to tell you that you shouldn't do it,
right? And then negativity is a sign of success, in a way.
The haters.
You're doing something right.
I said the same thing on a previous podcast. Yeah, if you don't have any haters, then you're maybe not doing something right, or you haven't made it yet. You're getting attention if you're getting haters.
Right. But that's one way. So Reddit is one. It's one way.
Okay.
But it's a very, very strong way when it hits, and it's hard to get it to hit. I mean, I've seen a lot of people that use Reddit frequently that have never been on the front page of Reddit, and I've done it. I've done it 3 times in one day.
Wow!
And and a part of it is just my content. It just works.
Sure.
I think like a painting of flowers won't work as well unless it's like just phenomenally available to reach people in the right mental circuit that allows them to be like, whoa, I love this so much. I want to share this with all my friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, almost like they're a very different or unique take on the flowers that nobody's seen before.
It's like, it's a weird thing that you can't really control what actually connects with the masses. No matter how you can have an idea of what can work better than other things, but for the most part, there's an aesthetic that is hard to pinpoint that the world just eats up.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that kills creativity too. If you're pre-planning something,
Yeah,
if you're like, oh, I'm going to make this viral. Well, no, just do it first. And if it does that, that's a healthy byproduct of something good that you've created.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the body paint things that tend to go most viral are things that I don't necessarily enjoy painting. You know?
Interesting.
And so I always look at it like, all right, well, painted clothes or camouflage body painting, like that stuff almost always goes viral no matter how good a quality it is. So how can I do this better than I've ever seen it done, or put a spin on it that makes me enjoy doing it, you know?
Yeah.
Like the roller skates on the beach. You know, that's fun to me. It's so cool to showcase this gal's ability to skate, which is incredible. You know?
Oh, it's awesome. And how did
you
you film that, by the way?
GoPro.
GoPro. Okay, but were you on a skateboard?
I was on a skateboard. Yeah, I was on a skateboard behind her.
Nice.
Which I'd never done. I'd never actually filmed while skateboarding.
Yeah, that's got to be a little dangerous.
Got to go for it. I was a little nervous. About that because I'm pretty sure I'm going to wipe out and smash my camera, because I also had my my DSLR camera around my neck because I was also taking photos.
Oh wow!
I didn't want to damage my camera.
Multitasking.
So I had my GoPro in one hand and I was like skating around, and I'm definitely not a pro at that.
That's so cool. Yeah, I saw there's one part at the end of the video where your head peeks in and you kind of like wave at the audience, and I was like, oh, I think he might be skateboarding. So that's cool. Yeah. Okay, well, we can move on unless there's some other tidbits that you want to give about YouTube.
That one's the big one. I think Reddit has given me a lot of exposure.
Interesting. And is Reddit, is it a lot of is it videos, or is it just a lot of different kinds of content? Okay.
Everything you can imagine. But you have to understand the rules of every community and know what you can post, what you can't post. I've had posts removed so many times on that site because of some stupid little mistake, you know, that I made, and it's a headache. It's a headache, but you got to just do it right, respect the rules, and be authentic, and hopefully you'll get one to blow up.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. I keep hearing Reddit. I always thought it was like this old school thing that was dying, but I keep hearing people talking about it, and I'm like, okay, you've solidified that for me. I'm going to check it out. Yeah. Just as if I need another platform to learn.
I know,
right?
it's a headache. It's a headache,
but you got to do it sometimes.
But that one is worth it if you can figure it out. It's really daunting and difficult, but it's worth it when you figure it out.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. That definitely enlightened me to something I wasn't aware of before. So I was interested, is your photography an extension of the body painting, or is the body painting an extension of the photography?
Well, I don't know. That's a tough question.
Or neither.
I'm a very lazy artist. I work my butt off, but I like getting to results as quick as possible. Yeah. So to me, like, body painting takes on average 3 hours to paint someone.
Okay.
And then I get to the result of the body painting, where a photograph is like, click the button, bam, there's my result. Click the button, bam, okay, I can fix this, click the result, bam, and I can take 100 pictures in no time. So I love photography. I love the challenge of photography. I love going out and exploring things and trying to capture something cool. Where body painting is like, it's taxing. And then painting like you do, which you could potentially spend weeks on a painting if you wanted to,
Oh yeah.
Like, I can't
Especially
do that.
Especially the surrealist stuff, yeah.
I cannot do that. That would drive me crazy. I get so bored. I don't have the patience for it. I guess I should say I'm impatient, not lazy. I'm an impatient artist. And so I would love to just be able to take pictures, to just be a photographer, but I'm obsessed with body painting. You know what I mean? So for my work, what is generally seen other than YouTube, because just in the last year or so, I've started to take YouTube a lot more serious because of the studio that has been offered to me. Photography has been my main way to showcase the body painting. And
right. And that's why I was asking. Yeah.
Right. And that photo itself is the artwork, because the body painting existed at one point and is no longer there. So the photo is the artwork now.
Yes.
So in a way, body painting is an extension of the photo.
Right. So you started photography first then, is that correct?
Well, I played with photography in college a little bit. I definitely took pictures of my caricatures when I was a caricature artist, but it was always like a hobby. And then I started body painting. I worked with various photographers to document it. But then I found that only a smaller percent of the photographers were really there to capture the work. The others were kind of perverts,
Yeah, right.
And then for the most part, nobody could really express what I was picturing in my head photographically. Then I was like, I'm just going to get a camera and start doing it myself. And
just do it myself. Yeah.
And it's become a really great challenge exploration that I love a lot. I just love taking pictures.
That's so cool. And your photography books, I don't own one. I haven't seen one in person, but they're pretty much your photographs of your body painting, correct?
Yeah. Okay. The first book, I think, has maybe 5% of other people's photographs. The second book is all my photos.
Nice. That's awesome.
For the most part, it's like 98% my photography, the whole collection.
Well, cool. So we can talk forever about these things, but I want to get a couple quick things. I always ask people about their origin story, but I feel like we've gotten a little bit of that from you. If there's anything we've left out, feel free to fill us in on an origin story really quickly.
Well, I mean, I've explained that many times in many interviews. I mean, I've always been an illustrator. I've always been fascinated with people, and I did my first body painting for a magazine that I was doing editorial illustrations for, and I just expressed a curiosity to paint a model for one of their photo spreads, and they said yes, and I did it and completely fell in love with it.
Nice.
And I've been hooked ever since 2005. And I learned that I just don't like drawing as much as I like body painting.
Yeah.
My whole life was all about drawing, and now it's and it goes hand in hand with that impatient nature of I struggled spending 18 hours on a drawing. It would just drive me crazy. And then this body painting, you have to finish it.
Yeah.
Within 5 hours. You can't just set the model aside and say, I'll paint the rest next week.
It's like a healthy constraint.
And I love it. I love that.
Well, can I pause real quick? It's funny because I'm always drawn to other artists who've made kind of a transition from different mediums. I'm also that way. I don't know if you know my old stuff, but like you, I'm kind of impatient, but I spent the first 12, 13 years of my career doing these really detailed pop surrealist pieces. And sometimes I would spend 15, 16 hours straight working on them. And you just go crazy. And I found out that I was kind of like an abstract artist at heart. So to answer your question a little earlier, I'm also impatient too. And the abstract is a nice way to kind of get a lot of that emotion that I was going for in the pop surrealism out into a canvas. And I can do it sometimes in 2-3 hours, like you're doing with body painting. So I completely understand and align with that.
Yeah. And I think I've heard many people say that, it's all about the process. It's all about the journey.
Yes.
Not the result, But for me, creating art to me is more about the result than the journey. But I do love my experiences, with the models, the one-on-one dialogues that we have as I'm painting and then going out and shooting in public. That's a lot of fun, of course. But the result for me is all that gets packaged into it.
Yeah.
And I remember on another podcast, you talked about how you hear the music that you were listening to when you look at a painting that you painted.
Definitely.
So it's the same thing for me with conversations and moods. And when I look at one of my older works, all of that comes flooding back. And for me, the result, it's weird. I just think everybody's different. And so when you hear statements that are so definitive like that, it's not always true. It's not always true. Everything varies. Everybody varies. And for me, I'm so into the results, and I prefer to like the results than hate them.
Yeah, it's good to hear you say that because I think a lot of artists coming up, they feel like they heard something from one artist and they go, "Well, I have to be this way," and there is no one way to do anything. I think to kind of piggyback on what you said with it not being about the journey, about being about the result. You like that more. For me, it's more about little flashes of moments. It's about the result for me too, but I have little moments within the creative process where it's like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And where I feel like I'm really in a flow state and I'm aligned. But the rest of it for me, those moments are amazing, and you never can plan those. Yeah. But I also kind of gravitate towards the result as well.
Yeah. So that's 2. That's 150 to 2. We're on the losing side.
Hey man, ours are the only ones that matter.
I'm pretty sure there's more people out there like this.
There's people
we can do this.
We can
Let's
do this.
Go team.
Yeah, exactly. Let's start the recruiting process. Okay, so I'm going to move on quickly to, do you have like a secret weapon, something that, like, if you're not in the, maybe you're just always in that state of wanting to create, but when you're having one of those periods where you're self-doubting or maybe you just don't have the energy, how do you get yourself creating? What's something that you do that kind of works for you?
I mean, I've thought about this recently, because I remember back when I was illustrating, I would have blocks. When I was doing comics, I would have blocks. And I haven't had a creative block in a long time.
Yeah.
Body paint. Like, I don't get that very often. Sometimes I'll have something just inspiring pop up in my head and I have to paint it, and it happens. And then other times, like, I'll schedule a photo shoot and I'll have nothing planned until a minute before I start painting, and I'll sit there and ask the model, what should we paint? I don't know. And it's just like, just work on it together. And I don't know, I've become really lax with that, and I don't sweat it too much. I don't have any issues with that anymore. But what I can get into is burnout. And I find, I make all my money with body painting. So if it's like a commercial job, usually the things that kill me are when I'm painting for other people, their concepts. And that gets kind of tiresome after a while, but I get good money for that. So it's like finding that balance. And maybe I'll be making a lot of commissions at one point, and I say, I need to do something creative for myself immediately, to just feel good. And so then...
Yeah, like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, so I have like different avenues that I could go. And I remember back when I was doing comics, one thing, traditional artists could try is, especially if your drawings are just turning out really bad, for like you're having an off day, just draw with your opposite hand. Just challenge yourself to change hands and just explore. Just have fun with that, and that becomes almost like a warm up, and it loosens you up, and then things start popping up that become inspiring and opens your mind a little bit.
That's interesting.
You just have to kind of like work your body back into motion a little bit.
Well, I think that's kind of what you're doing when you're scheduling a shoot and you don't really know what you're going to do. It's like you've got something in place and you trust yourself at this point that when you get there, inspiration is going to come.
Yeah.
I do the same thing. And also kind of similar to what you're saying with switching hands, a lot of times it's just about like, okay, I've done a bunch of these. I got bored with this. Now, you know what? I'm going to try this little tiny, I started doing these little micro paintings on these, antique little frames that I'd find in antique stores.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And it just completely opened up a whole new window to me. And I got so many ideas for bigger paintings doing that. It's kind of your switching hands thing kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, let's just do something fun and see what comes of it.
Right.
I think that's always a good thing. If you're like really struggling in the moment over something, just like take a break from it.
Yes.
Do something else. You can apply your creativity to anything. So just like try something fun.
I completely agree. Okay, so I'm going to ask you about a failure that you've had and if you've learned something from it. Could be a biggest failure, could be any failure.
I don't like thinking about my failures.
You don't have to.
I've had
you can say
tons
pass.
and tons and tons and tons of failures, but the one that always comes to mind first was just like a bad day. I had a shoot scheduled 4 hours from where I lived, and so I drove there. And about 3 hours in the drive, my the ball bearing on my front left tire went, and my tire started screeching loud, crazy. And I was like, "Oh my god!" But I could still drive, but it was just awful.
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, what do I do? Do I pull over and call it a day?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna get there with this loud car, leave it with a mechanic to work on it while I'm working, and then pick it up, and hopefully it'll be done when I'm done, and I'll go home." That was my plan. And so I get there, I drive around the city in New Hampshire, and it was like a Sunday, and everything was closed, so I couldn't find a mechanic. So I just drove to the client and parked the car and figured I'll deal with it after this. Let me just get the work done and show up. But of course, I'm distracted now. Mentally, I'm totally distracted. And I show up in the basement where I'm supposed to paint this male model, and the basement is a photographic studio and it has all this super expensive gear. And the male model's laying on the cement ground. And I recommend, like, I should paint him outside because I don't want all the cooling fans on this gear to suck in paint.
Yeah.
So the male model's like, I can't go outside. I have this weird thing with temperature, and I don't want to be out in the sun. That's why I'm laying on the ground now. It keeps me cool. I'm like, okay.
Oh, no.
Well, let's go somewhere else in the house that I could paint, maybe the kitchen or something. And so we go to the kitchen.
I've got this weird thing with kitchens.
We go to the kitchen, and I didn't really pay attention to anything else. And I, for no reason other than being distracted, did not put my fan against an open window that would suck out any overspray.
Oh, man.
Usually I would do that. But I was just like, whatever, we're in the kitchen. This is an easily cleanable area.
Yeah.
And I just started painting this guy, and I was base coating him entirely in red. And I was using a new brand of makeup that I'd never used before. And I just finished painting the whole body, and the photographer comes walking up and he freaks out. He's like, oh my God, there's red paint everywhere.
Oh my God.
And then he like takes his finger, and he's in another room. He takes his finger against the wall and swipes it against the wall and pulls his finger off, and his whole finger's red.
Oh my God.
Like, my heart sank. I was oh my God. I like dropped to the ground. Oh my God, this is all my fault completely. Like I totally blew it here. And this guy turned out to be a total clean freak.
Oh my God.
And so he kind of got really angry, and all his cameras were on the dining room table, which I didn't see at first. And they were all covered in this light dust of red
my
makeup.
God, man.
But really it's all just dust. And so
right.
You could have just dusted it all up. Not that that's any better, but but if you wipe it with a wet paper towel, it smears the red everywhere.
Yes.
So it's complicated, but it seemed like it was just everywhere.
Oh my God, man!
And I was just like heart sank, feeling awful, and so I'm like, well, and ultimately the guy was just like, I can't shoot in this state. We just got to stop. Just clean it off and go home. And I was like, well, I don't want him to shower in your bathroom, because I was like, this guy's a clean freak and it's going to leave red all over the shower.
Yeah.
So I ended up hosing off the guy in his backyard, and then came and said, how can I help clean? And I was like, but you got to tell me everything you want me to do, because I don't want to do anything. And he's like, you want to just go home? And of course I was like, thank God, just go home. And I said, I'll pay for whatever, cleaning bill you have. And I just felt horrible.
Oh, man.
So then I got back in my car and started driving away with a bad tire. And I didn't make it like 20 minutes. And I pulled over on the highway and called a tow truck and had to be towed 4 hours home. And I missed another gig that I had that night, and lost a lot of money. The cleaning bill ended up being like $150. It was no big deal, but it was just, all in all, it was a total absolute failure.
Oh man, that's a nightmare day. You hear of like the actor's nightmare? That's like the body painter's nightmare.
Yeah, it was not good.
Holy shit. I don't even want to ask you what you learned from it. Because that's one of those just kind of like throwaway days.
Yeah. I feel like there was not much. I mean, I could put the fan, and who knows how much the fan would have even helped, but it's like, it was just meant to be a total disaster.
Easy to laugh now, right?
Maybe it's just humbling. It's just a humbling experience.
Sure. Yeah.
Maybe
definitely.
it helped me not become arrogant. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Or take like certain precautions in different shoots. Yeah. Wow, man. Well, thanks for sharing that one. That one's it's funny now, but I'm sure it was horrible in the moment.
Yeah. Oh my God, it was the worst day ever. It was one of the worst days ever.
Well, if you can believe, we are running out of time again. I wanted to ask you your opinion Do you want? I've got some great stories I can ask you about, 3 or 4.
Yeah, let's do
we
it.
can
Let's
wrap
keep
up.
going.
Let's keep going. Okay, cool. Yeah. So let's take another quick pause, and I'll get back to you.
Okay.
All right. If you're still with us, we are back for round 3 here.
Score.
With Paul Roustan. Yes. So I wanted to highlight, you've got so many cool stories and interesting things that have happened to you in your 15-year plus career painting, body painting. Why don't we talk about the pregnant belly one? That kind of piqued my interest.
Yeah. I think it was around 2007.
Okay.
I became really aware. I hadn't painted a pregnant belly yet, and I'd seen all these photos online of pregnant bellies, and they're all really beautiful, and like wearing fabrics and just looking really pleasant and beautiful. And I was like, but to me, pregnancy is a little freaky. It's a little freaky.
You and me both.
Weird. There's this weird creature inside the belly eating up all your food. And,
yeah.
And it's like, I want to paint something that's kind of creepy.
Sucking out your life force.
So I had this very dark image in mind where the belly was just a giant, scary-looking eyeball.
Nice.
And I wanted the whole thing to be kind of dark and weird, which is how it made me feel.
Yeah.
Essentially, And so the big challenge was like, all right, where can I find a pregnant model who's going to let me paint something scary and dark like this on their beautiful baby bump,
Right.
And I found a model who was totally down, and I think I put out a casting call maybe to find this model.
That's smart.
No, but
was this Craigslist?
Model Mayhem.
Oh, Model Mayhem. Okay.
Yeah, which is a great place. Which
is a little better than
It's
Craigslist.
Different than it used to be. Now it's a little bit weirder, I guess. I haven't used it in years, but back then it was a lot more professional.
Okay.
And and so this gal who lived 6 hours away was willing to do it. And obviously, working with pregnant models, you have to be understanding of their current state, and so you have to be very flexible for them, and make adjustments to help their comfort.
Sure.
And so I was like, I'm not going to make her.
Well, and can I ask how far along was she? Do you know?
She was like ready to pop.
Wow. Like okay.
8.5 months. Like it was
man.
Like she could have blown up right there. And so I took my favorite photographer with me, Max Profit, Max Trombley, and we hopped in my car and we drove 6 hours to Syracuse, New York. And we came to the house, first time I'm meeting her and her husband and her baby bump, and I just started painting and just went at it for, I think it was probably 2 hours tops, maybe an hour and a half, because I just painted her belly and her chest and her thighs.
Yeah.
And took a cropped photo of this scary looking eyeball. And it was cool because like as I'm painting this photorealistic eyeball, the baby was moving and it made the eyeball look like it was moving.
Oh, nice.
Following me. It was so trippy, and I was kind of tired from the drive.
Very so David Lynch.
It was super surreal. The whole experience was surreal, and we took pictures and hopped back in the car and drove right back home. So it was like a long day, and ever since then, I've had multiple people copy that piece, and put it out there, and it's never really bothered me.
They don't get your permission?
No, they didn't. But one predominant body painter copied and at least gave me credit on it.
Oh, okay.
She has like millions of followers, and she's actually made money using the same body paint, which is a little weird, but
yeah, you should be getting a percentage of that.
It's weird, yeah, because that was like fully genuinely inspired by my mind, and I put it out there, and now people copy it.
Yeah, that's a tricky thing in the arts.
Since then, I've had two babies, and now it's more of a beautiful thing, and I've painted a lot of beautiful pregnant bellies too. Freaky, but at that time, it was a really freakish thing to me.
Oh my God, I would be scared. Like I would be scared that the paint was going to somehow like seep in through the skin.
Right. Yeah, I was very considerate of that. I only used makeup.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, and for to those of you out there who are stealing Paul Roustan's mental license, give him a shout out at least. Come on, kick him some money.
Credit people you're inspired by. It's good. It's good etiquette,
and it's good karma too.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on. You had a story about a caboose.
This one is so crazy. I painted two models in the desert in Joshua Tree.
Okay.
Actually, Morongo Valley. That it was
love
barn,
Joshua Tree. Yeah.
It was in a barn in Morongo Valley, just next to Joshua Tree, and one of them is one of my favorite models, Silva, who's this amazing hat maker. You can find all her headpieces at bubblesandfrown.etsy.com. They're incredible headpieces.
Nice.
And so her and her friend, who is also a head maker, Miss G Designs, created, and I think hers is missgdesigns.com. I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
But one of them made an elephant
head. Just Google Miss G Designs.
Miss G made an elephant head for Silva, and Silva made a lion head for a male model. And I painted the two models to complement the headpieces. And awesome. as I'm painting Silva, I was like, this would be so cool, because it was kind of like a circus. It would be so cool if we could just find a caboose and shoot it at the caboose. And so while I'm painting, we're like kind of trying to search for a caboose.
Someone bring me a caboose.
Locally in the desert, where you walk outside and there's no one,
Yeah,
like,
right, exactly.
And the outlook was grim that we were going to find a caboose, right? And so between painting the two of them, I took a small break, went outside, had a little drink of water, and there was this guy doing landscaping in the desert on this barn property.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, how's it going? And we just had a small conversation. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm painting right now. I'm doing a body painting, painting two people to look like circus animals. And I was like, it'd be really cool. We're trying to find a caboose and do a photo shoot there. He's like, oh, really? I have a caboose. You could use it if you want.
I was going to make a joke about that. You need a caboose, son. Wow.
I got a caboose. one person just randomly has a caboose.
Oh, and my God.
So the three of us, the two models and I, hop in our car and we follow him in his car. Everything's done. The guy was willing to wait for us. And we follow him to his scary ranch.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
The entranceway was a super windy, rock tight, small road that you can't easily back out of. I was like, boy, our escape route here is slim.
Yeah, he could cook us up and eat us here.
And there was just junk everywhere. Cool junk. I could do a million photo shoots there.
Yeah. Including
an old abandoned caboose. And I was just God. This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. And we did the shot, and it was super bizarre, but we did it. We got the shot, and we left, and I was just like, well, that was an experience.
Oh my God, man. That's like a level beyond serendipity. I don't even know what to call that, Yeah. Holy shit. I love it.
Ask and you shall receive, right? That's what you say. Just ask.
Yeah, that's so true. Oh my God. I got a caboose right here.
Because my normal state as an introvert is to not talk about what I'm doing, because then people ask me too many questions.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Oh, I'm a photographer. And that's what I leave it at.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when I say body painting, like, oh, really? Tell me about this. And then it goes on and on. And sometimes I just don't want to talk. I just want to chill.
Yeah, for sure.
But for some reason, I told this guy, oh, I'm painting two people. We're looking for a caboose. Oh
my God. And in that area too, that's just perfect.
It's bizarre. So bizarre.
There should be a movie made at this guy's place.
Oh, totally. I guess they work with Hollywood a little bit. So I wish I could remember their names off the top of my head.
Oh, that makes sense. It's probably like old Oliver Stone stuff. I could see Natural Born Killers being using some of that.
Totally.
Yeah, maybe it was.
Like those two guys, Mickey and Mallory, live on that property for sure.
That's where they are. If they wait, I'm forgetting. No, they don't survive, right? If they survived. Oh no, they do survive. This is where they retired.
Exactly.
Spoiler alert for Natural Born Killers if you haven't seen it.
Just swap it a little bit as they're two brothers. They're two brothers, which makes it even creepier.
I can see the trailer for Two Brothers. Okay, that's awesome. Well, I know you wanted to talk about a little bit about this neon retro arcade in Pasadena.
So this is kind of cool. This goes with asking and you shall receive a little bit. So I've had the luxury of producing all my work all these years, and then just over time, people volunteering their properties and stuff for me to use. Yeah. And in some cases, just really extravagant locations, places that I would most likely never get asking outright or without paying a fortune to use.
Yeah, you couldn't afford to, right?
It's just like fans of my work that let me use their spaces, which I am like so grateful for, you know. And the Neon Retro Arcade, like I'm a big 80s nostalgic maniac. I love the 80s.
Yeah, me too.
And there's this arcade in Pasadena, Neon Retro Arcade, and it's all old school video games. And you pay a cover charge. You go in, you can play to your heart's desire for like an hour.
Why do I not know about this place? I got to go here.
It's so cool. It's so cool. And so when I first learned of it, I went there and I was like, oh my god, I would die to do a photo shoot in here.
Yeah,
someday. And I've just been like supporting him. Like when the first time I went, I took video and posted it on my story and shared the location. And then one time I painted at the Pasadena Convention Center and I brought the model there afterward. We had some time to kill. I brought the model there afterwards and I took a couple quick shots while I was in there of her playing Tron or something. And nice. And I virtually built up this relationship with Mia. Mark and Mia are the owners, and I believe I was talking to Mia on social media, and we just had like this really subtle, like small. It wasn't like we were best friends or anything, but I was just like, I love Neon Retro Arcade. It's so cool. Thank you for doing this. It's a cool story because they're just a husband and a wife that have the same nostalgic love for the 80s that I do.
Oh yeah.
They opened up this retro arcade, and it's a small business. Awesome. It's a small, awesome business, and I appreciate that. And they ended up being fans of my work, and they appreciated my work, and they offered to let me use their space. If you want to do a shoot here, feel free to do it. I'm like, I would die too.
Yeah.
And like as soon as they offered that, within like a few weeks, I scheduled it and did it. And I came and I painted 2 models with black lights and brought them there with black lights and lit it up and photographed it. And I actually have posters of that print available on my website as well.
Oh, awesome.
But I really want to shout them out because I love stories like that of people just sort of following their dreams and making it a reality. And obviously they're struggling a little bit now with businesses having to close down because of the virus. And I want to spread the word.
Especially with a bunch of kids touching stuff.
Oh, yeah. But I just I think everything's going to be great when everything opens up. And obviously they're going to be super sanitary and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Like you said, you didn't know about it. I want everybody to know about this.
You honestly just gave them 2 customers. Cool. My wife and I are huge 80s people. Like it's gonna be cool. Yeah, we're gonna go.
They do so much for their community. They have great like family events. They have like, you know, Father's Day. The father brings their kids in, and the father gets to go in for free. And they give you like I remember one Father's Day they gave you free old school rad buttons that say Rad Dad.
Oh yeah.
It's just fun. It's just good.
I love it.
And I would hate to see this virus kill their business. Because
me too, man.
It's a good thing. And I told them that I want to promote them as much as I can.
Yeah. Say their name one more time.
It's Mark and Mia at Neon Retro Arcade in Pasadena. They also have another location in Northridge.
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
So great, yeah.
Well, that's actually even I would never have thought this in the past, but that's actually closer to us. We might go.
I don't know what the status is right now when they're reopening, but I imagine sometime soon they should be reopening.
Yeah, I think that's kind of rolling out pretty quickly. So
they're on Instagram at Neon Retro Arcade. They and in the meantime, in the interim, Mark has been playing the games.
Oh, really?
On video and sharing the videos.
He's got like the high score on every single one.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
That's funny. We just watched this Seinfeld episode where George rediscovers his old Frogger machine, and he still has the high score on there. I love it. I used to live on those things. I love the old arcades.
Man, what you could do with one token.
Yes. Well, we've got two new customers here.
Awesome.
Well, and also it's cool that it's like cool people doing cool things recognize other cool people doing cool
things. It's a beautiful thing.
It's a great synergy. Yeah. Okay. And then one other story that kind of sparked my attention was Shark Week, Discovery Channel Shark Week at Telemundo.
Yeah. So I try to go to conventions and stuff with a model. At one point I would pay for a booth and stand there all day and try to sell stuff, and it just got so boring. And everybody just wanted to see the models, you know? I was like, why don't I just attend, enjoy the shows, bring a painted model, take tons of pictures, hand out business cards, whatever. And so I brought one of my favorite models, Shadia Elise Gantus. She goes on Shadia Elise on Instagram. I brought her to San Diego Comic-Con as one of my painted sharks.
Oh, nice.
And we were walking around. I don't know if you've ever been to San Diego Comic-Con, but it's insane.
No, I haven't.
It's so huge. You can't possibly see everything in one day. And it's spilling out into the streets now. And so corporations and stuff are selling their products on the streets outside the convention center. It's pretty amazing.
Oh, man.
And we were walking around, and I had no idea that Shark Week was there. I suspected that they probably would have a booth, but then I saw people walking around with these foam shark fin headpieces that they were getting from Shark Tank Discovery Week. And I was like, we need to go find their booth and crash it. And so we walk up, we finally find it, and it was outside in this big area, parking lot, grass area or something. And there was hundreds of people facing the stage that had a giant inflatable shark. It was probably 200 feet long. It was humongous inflatable shark.
Oh, wow.
It was chomping kegs. Hydraulic. It had like a hydraulic mouth chomping kegs. And it had this great hype man on the mic, just like getting everybody excited. And Telemundo just happened to be on stage getting ready to film. And so we're walking by, and the hype man spots my glittery shark model. And he's like, oh, my God, look at that. And the whole crowd turned and looked. And I walked around, and I just kind of like forced my way to the front. And the security guy by the steps, who was part of the team, he wanted her to get on stage. And I was like, yeah, I don't remember if I encouraged it. I was like, you should put her on the stage. Put her on the stage. You know?
Yeah.
And this was kind of like my way of, like, I love sharks. And so I did a whole series on sharks. And I was like, this is something that companies pay me for to do, you know? And so I was kind of saying, here's a little freebie. Let's get her on stage and then hire me next year to do something more, you know, formal. And so she went on stage.
And you say you need to learn business.
And the crowd went crazy, and she was about to get off the stage. And I was like, just keep her on the stage. Keep her on the stage. They were about to do the Telemundo thing live. And then they kept her on the stage. She ended up on the channel. I never saw it, but it was really cool. And then afterwards, everybody lined up to take pictures with her. And I talked to like whoever was managing that thing about like, bring me in, here's my information, bring me in. And I never heard anything back from that. But it was a
really?
cool experience. Yeah.
That's so cool though. That's another one of those things where you just you did great work, and you were in the right place, and you just went with it.
Yeah. You know? I mean,
like
it's part of the hustle. A little bit of the hustle is in there, you know, where you gotta do what you gotta do. Like it's kind of what you said earlier. Like with social media, one of the big flaws I think of up and coming artists, really fresh from school, are they expect the world to find them, and that doesn't work. You have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself right in front of the people you want to see it. You have to introduce yourself. You have to like kindly show who you are and show that you exist, and then hopefully you make a good fit for whatever needs these people might have, and then they hire you, you know, for things.
And you have to do it over and over again.
Yeah, too. If you don't make that effort, you're just gonna never be found.
That's so true. And not only with social media, but just with art general. I was a victim of that. Not a victim, but I put myself through that when I started out. I was like, you know what? The work's going to speak for itself. It was basically a rationalization that I didn't want to learn how to do it.
Right.
And I just wanted to like sit in my studio and drink and paint. And so I did that for a long time. And, you know, I did some shows. I did some gallery shows. But as far as like really making some progress, that only happened when I decided I got to take the reins here a little bit, put myself out there. So that's a great lesson.
And then another tip is like, figure out where you really fit. Like, don't submit your shark head work to like a jewelry company, you know, if it has nothing to do with jewelry. I don't know. It's just the best example I could think of off the top of my head, but you know what I mean?
No, it's so true.
So like one of the early publishings that I got with a magazine was for Airbrush Action magazine. Obviously it made sense. I'm an airbrush body painter. They published stuff with body painting in the past. So I prepared basically a whole how to do article on a specific body painting, sent it to them with a letter. Here's a tutorial on how to do this. Maybe you could publish it in your magazine. And I made it so easy for them that all they had to basically do was copy and paste it, and they ran it, you know.
Boom. That's perfect.
And then later on, like another airbrush artist asked me, how did you get into airbrush action? They've never contacted me about anything. It's like, have you ever reached out to them? And he said, no. That's Why?
Well, there you go.
They don't know you exist. You got to.
Yeah. Why would they?
Yeah.
It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. These are business people. They're not. They're not like clamoring.
It would be like a painter who does like, insane pop surrealist clown art, and they try to get their stuff into a gallery that only shows landscapes. You know what I mean? They're just not going to show you, and you're just wasting everybody's time.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's a great lesson. Well, it's been awesome talking to you. I want to finish with this last one, kind of bring it full circle back to Hermosa Beach. I know you've been working with a lot of local musicians and studios. You want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, we've had some just such great, there's such great culture here in Hermosa Beach in the South Bay, and the people, all the businesses, the local businesses, especially on our street in Cypress Ave, where Shockbox exists, Resin Gallery, and Studio 637, their Hermosa Music Company right next door to Shockbox.
Yeah, awesome.
I mean, just so many great things are happening, and I've been able to collaborate with pretty much everybody. And I just want to name drop Kira Lingman, who kills it with her music locally, and she's just like an amazing voice. It's mind-blowing to see what comes out of this, stereotypical looking blonde-haired surfer girl, but she sounds like an old school like blues man from Alabama.
Oh man.
And Studio 637.
It's kind of like the Amy Winehouse thing,
Again, kind of like along the same terms as Neon Retro Arcade, you just have these great people that collaborate for the love of art and put it out there for the world to see, and it's a cool thing that's been brought to this street. I want to shout out to Studio 637 for everything they've done in the community, helping combine art and music and technology, and of course all the amazing musicians. And I hope everyone can come check it all out someday when everything is fully reopened.
I completely agree. And they put up the Spring Fest, which was a full day YouTube festival, music festival, and they highlighted Shockbox and local businesses. I know people were delivering pints to the area. They're just doing a lot of really cool stuff for the community down there.
Yeah, it's great. Great vibes all around.
For sure, man. And it's definitely on my wife and my to-do list to try to. We make the trek down there, which is sometimes an hour and a half drive, a lot. But hopefully we'll get to move down there at some point and become natives or locals too.
That'd be great.
Yeah, right?
That'd be great. Yeah.
We would love to. So, well, it's been awesome talking to you. Where can people find you online?
Super easy. It's my last name, Roustan, on YouTube and Instagram, and my website is bodypainter.com.
Yes, and you will be blown away by the stuff that Paul does. It's amazing. I was hooked. I could have wasted a couple days. Not wasted. I could have spent 2 days on your YouTube channel alone. So keep up the amazing work, man. And I know I'm going to see
Likewise. You.
Hustle. I know I'm going to see you soon in person at one of the gallery shows. I can't wait for that. Is there anything you want to leave people with, or you feel pretty good?
Just come to the shows, man. Come support the arts.
Yes, for sure. Shockbox Gallery, but also the arts in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, thanks so much for sticking around for so long. I know a lot of people are going to find some of the stuff you said very useful. And I know for me, there were a couple things that I learned. I feel like I'm an old hand here, and you gave me a couple things that I need to chew on. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it was great talking to you. We'll talk soon.
Awesome. Take it easy.
All right. See you, man. This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.